Hello everyone. For our third project, I wanted to sort of walk you through some of the key elements of how to structure this type of essay. And most of this is going to apply for those of you who are doing the 95 level for our third project, but also some of this information is really useful and beneficial to those of you who are working at the 90 level. So regardless of which level you're at, some of the information covered in this video is going to be really helpful. First thing I just wanted you to know is that the type of essay that I'm going to show you, it's just a partial essay, so it's not a complete essay. It just shows the first few paragraphs of what this type of essay sounds like. I will post the essay separately so that you do have access to it as well. Again, just the partial sample. I'm not going to give you a full sample for the final project. But it gives you an idea of how to set this up, how to make the connections, how to keep everything together, along with just seeing how those different parts of the essay or elements of an essay all come together. What does this sort of look like, or what does it sound like when it's put into one document? So this particular essay is responding to an article, just like your essay will be responding to an article. And so I wanted to talk about what the introduction paragraph looks like and what gets included in an introduction paragraph. So when you enter an introduction paragraph, the first thing that you want to do is introduce the topic of what you're talking about to your reader. Not your specific thesis yet, just the general conversation. What is it that is going to be discussed? And a lot of times what you'll want to do is actually start with a hook to engage your reader, to make them want to hear what you're saying, where you're going. And this essay actually does a nice job of starting with a hook to lead you into what the topic of the essay is. And literally the hook is the first thing that comes in the introduction. So where it says a journalist, teacher, singer, designer, speaker, therapist, these are a few of the possible careers that come from earning a liberal arts degree. Yet liberal arts majors are not the most respected of college majors, okay? Those first two sentences basically make up the hook. At the same time, they're introducing you to the general topic of the essay. You know that this essay is going to have something to do with significance of liberal arts, okay? Then it sort of continues to explain that a bit more, where it says some people view liberal arts as not applicable to the real world outside of college, while others see it as too artistic and not serious enough. So this particular student introduced some of the other perspectives and views that exist on this topic, right? It's giving context for the discussion. If you want to think of it as like setting the scene for where the essay is going to go. Then what they do from there, after they've introduced what some people say, then they move to what a specific article says. And this is a really good example of how much summary is appropriate to include in your introduction paragraph from the article. And it does a nice job of sort of integrating the article into the paragraph so that it flows and makes sense. You'll see that when they introduce the article, they give the article title. The article title is surrounded with quotation marks since it's an article. They include the author along with a verb. In this case, it's dispels to show what's going on. So they introduce the source. That particular thesis is an implied thesis, so it wasn't found on a specific page. That's why you see the 190 to 196 in the in-text citation. And then, because it's a summary statement that follows, summarizing his main ideas, again, you see the full range of page numbers. Then it explains how that article connects to where this student is going, where it says, Unger makes valid points throughout his article and clearly explains his views. I agree with his assessment because, okay? Now, saying I agree, that is not the most sophisticated or complex thesis out there, okay? And with your particular essay, just be cautious because you're not directly agreeing or disagreeing with the author. That's not what the writing prompt is asking from you. So make sure that you're clearly addressing your writing prompt at the end, and that is your thesis. So really the last two sentences of this essay, or of this paragraph, are the thesis for this essay. They're saying what they agree with, and then they also follow that up with however, right? At times, Unger does this, which I don't agree with. That's then going to lead into their specific direction for the essay. Everything is going to surround with that agreement and disagreement, and it's going to follow in the same order that's listed in the thesis. Now, for students who are doing, before I talk about the body paragraph, students that are doing the 90 level work, you're going to start with just a summary paragraph You're not going to have a hook. You're not going to have your own thesis. You're not going to introduce the general topic. You are going to summarize the article, and that is literally how your project will start, is with a summary paragraph. Then what's different about yours is you'll have your summary paragraph, then you will start a new paragraph where you will state your central idea. And again, a central idea, for all intents and purposes, same thing as the thesis for your project, okay? Your central idea should cover both of the main points from your body paragraphs. It should directly respond to the writing prompt, okay? So now body paragraphs, regardless of which which project, 90 or 95 level, they should be the same. So each should have a specific main idea. Each one needs to have some explanation, and you should have some examples. And possibly, somewhere at least, you have to include information from the article. And so this body paragraph does a really nice job setting that up. It has a clear topic sentence. Students should have the opportunity to pick their major, including liberal arts, based on what is important to them without being pressured into a particular field. Then if it goes into an example, for instance, if a student is going to college as a means to enter a particular career, they should make sure that it is a career they are actually interested in. However, Unger explains that students are often pressured into technology and math majors because of the misconceptions surrounding liberal arts. Right? And then it goes on to sort of explain that. In 2012, it seems like most people feel degrees in technology or science are the best majors. Then it introduces another point from the article. You can see, I know which sentences come from the article because every single one of them, whether it's a paraphrase or a quote, it starts with a signal phrase, it ends with that in-text citation in parentheses. This is exactly how you're going to want to set yours up, okay? So again, this is a great example to reference as far as how to structure, sorry, I'm still coughing, getting over a cold, but how to structure your paragraphs, including source material. You'll also notice that there's 2 sentences in this whole paragraph that are from source material. That's it. It is not the majority of the paragraph, and you want to be careful to not let source material overwhelm what you're saying. You'll see that after the source material, they include explanation, right, in order to tie up the paragraph. Then they move on to their next paragraph. They start with a transition, a similar notion. So they're saying similar to the last paragraph is also this idea. And they introduce another idea. Introduce again a sentence of support from the article, source material. They offer more explanation. They include a question in that particular paragraph. Next paragraph, again, body paragraph, starts with furthermore. So it is again leading into, and you can see that this paragraph is not complete. I didn't include the full thing, but it literally gives you an idea of how to set this up around your own main points and then introduce articles or the article as support where needed, okay? You'll also notice that these paragraphs, you see furthermore, however, moreover, they're using transitions to keep them all connected together. Make sure that you do something really similar, all right? So again, just to re-emphasize kind of this overall structure, and then you can take a look at the essay more closely on your own if you would like. In your introduction, you should introduce the topic, introduce how the article falls into that, and that's where you give the brief summary of the article. And then you lead up to your specific thesis statement, and your thesis statement is your answer to the writing prompt question. Each body paragraph that follows then should be your own main point to support your thesis. And within each of those main points, they should be specific, they should be different from each other, so they shouldn't overlap or be repetitive. And then within each of those, that's where you include support. And some of that support may be your own ideas, your own examples, your own explanation. Some of it's going to need to come from the article as either paraphrases or quotes. So that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. With using quotes and paraphrases in body paragraphs, do not begin or end the paragraph with source material. Begin and end with your own ideas. There'll be another video you can watch on building body paragraphs that will help with that. But I just wanted to give you the overall illustration of how this looks. And again, for 90 level students, the big difference is that you're writing 3 paragraphs, not a full essay. And your first paragraph is just going to be a summary paragraph, nothing else, just like our mini project that we did. And then you'll have 2 body paragraphs with a central idea that holds those body paragraphs together. And again, your central idea, that is the writing prompt or your answer to the writing prompt question. And the body paragraphs, again, are based around your own ideas. You pull in the article as support for your ideas. A couple other areas of emphasis. This essay is not all about you, therefore you don't want to use I all the time. It is not a story about yourself or personal experience. So you want to make sure that you are trying to avoid using I unless you are literally including a very specific example from your own life to illustrate a point in one of your body paragraphs. If you use I, it should be minimal in this essay. As with other writing projects, it's not okay to use you and your. Inappropriate. They are not in line with academic tone. Plus, again, they're just inaccurate. So you're not talking about you to every reader you're talking. You don't know who your readers are. You can't say you. It's going to make it inaccurate. So please stay away from you and your when you're writing. And then finally, just make sure that if you have questions to reach out for help. This project cannot be revised. It acts as the final for our class. So I want to make sure that any questions you do have get answered. And then finally, please do not forget your Works Cited page. The second you're using a source, you must have a Works Cited page with it. Any questions as you get started, let me know. If not, good luck, and I look forward to seeing your drafts.